When DNA replicates, its strands are separated by the enzyme helicase. Single-stranded DNA binding proteins keep the strands from re-annealing. One DNA strand encodes the leading strand, which forms from its 5' to its 3' end, using DNA polymerase III. No problem here, but the lagging strand presents problems. It has to form from 5' to 3' too. It forms in pieces called Okazaki fragments. First, an RNA primase lays down an RNA primer. Then, DNA polymerase III lays down new DNA. The process repeats again and again. DNA polymerase I replaces the RNA primers with DNA. Finally, DNA ligase links the Okazaki fragments.